Here is the 1989 Lincoln Town Car, and what I'm working on now is repairing bad vacuum hoses that go to the upper intake manifold. I've got the upper intake off now, and for a long time, I've got several other cars that use this particular fuel system, and I have wanted to take that upper intake manifold off and get at those hoses, but I was just too afraid to. I was afraid I'd end up messing something up. But I got up a little more confidence and read some information on the internet and thought, well, this isn't all that, it's really not all that difficult to get it off. I've got it over here, and this Plymouth, actually South J. K's truck for Retro Electronics is having the same problem as the Plymouth is. It's got the truck has a 360, this is a 318, so he's got it in a repair shop, and so hopefully that'll give me some more insight as to why coolant is going directly into the intake, going directly into the crankcase rather. But I've got the intake manifold sitting up here, and if you look at this hose, this is the hose that goes to the MAP sensor, the manifold absolute pressure sensor, and that tells the fuel injection system what the vacuum level is. And I was reading about that and about how that can cause poor performance. The performance of this is just degraded and degraded and degraded till I could barely drive it. It'd be like a carb with a bad accelerator pump. You go to hit the gas and it would just die, and then it would kind of stumble back to life. And I thought, this performance is not even good enough to drive it anymore, so I need to get in there and fix it. This hose goes to the charcoal canister, and as a test I had capped it temporarily to see if that would fix my vacuum problem, because that hose was extremely deteriorated. So I reached up under here with this manifold still on and plugged it, but it didn't do any good, so I knew I was going to have to take the manifold off. But you can see the hose going to the MAP sensor, how degraded it is. And here's the PCV hose. Looks like the PCV valve is original. I'm going to try to take the PCV screen off and replace it, because it's very difficult to get to the PCV screen with the intake manifold on. And let's just sort of take a look at some of the components in here as far as what I had to take off. The first thing I took off were the connections to the TPS sensor and to the EGR valve, the electrical connections. Then I cut the hoses going to the EGR spacer cooler. These carry coolant up to the EGR spacer to help cool exhaust gas before it gets admitted into the intake through the EGR valve. These look like original Motorcraft hoses, so I wanted to replace those. So I just went ahead and cut them. And then you need to take off the TV cable here, and that you just take the TV bushing off, take the little E-clip off. This is the throttle cable from the accelerator pedal. This is the throttle cable from the cruise control, and it just sort of pops off with a little ball type fitting there. And you got to take the throttle bracket off. You need a deep reach 1/2 inch ratchet or 1/2 inch socket to get it off. I took it off after loosening the intake manifold bolts, but it might be able to be taken off at another time. And a repair had been done on this. Here's the MAP sensor, and a repair had been done where this has been patched with a new piece of hose, but if you look, what it connects to that went to the manifold was really deteriorated. And this had been done, I took this into a repair shop last year because it just wasn't running like it should. It was hesitating, and they put new spark plugs in it, which helped a little bit, but I don't think they really wanted to tear into this in the level of detail it really would have taken to completely solve the problem. But I'm ready to really fix this right now. Here's the fuel pressure regulator. It connects with a hard vacuum line into one of the little vacuum ports back there. There's a vacuum manifold back here. These connect to the climate control system. This connects to the cruise control. And there's another line that connects to the power brake booster. And so all those lines from that manifold connect here. Those lines look okay, but I think I may try to replace them while I got the intake off. And I'm going to try and replace this heater hose too, because it's almost impossible to get to. Here's the tube that goes to the EGR cooler. This little tube here, and I'll use some transmission oil cooler line to replace that. And here's the tube, where is it here? This is the tube that goes to the charcoal canister. And look how deteriorated that is. That was just, I'm sure, causing a mega vacuum leak. And so the goal here is to get rid of vacuum leaks. This little cover plate that says 5.0 liter EFI has 4 Torx screws in it, number 20 Torx bit. So I just got a Torx screwdriver at the auto parts store just for that purpose. A T20 Torx, because I know I'm going to have, it was only $4.99 or so. So I just went ahead and got a dedicated one. And then you got to take off the connection to the air cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead then and replace all those vacuum lines, try to get the PCV screen out, replace the PCV valve. I've just got some cardboard over the intake ports now. We'll put a new gasket on it, and hopefully that'll help. Before I took the upper intake off, I replaced the idle air control, I replaced the EGR valve. I didn't replace them with brand new ones, I replaced them with ones just borrowed from another one of these cars, and they did not fix the problem. So I'm thinking it's related to vacuum leaks or a bad MAP sensor. So we'll rule out, you always want to rule out age-related problems, like in radios, things such as bad capacitors, or in cars, bad vacuum lines or vacuum leaks. And then once you get vacuum leaks taken care of, you can go on to troubleshooting other things that may be bad, like bad sensors. So there's the progress on the Lincoln Town car.